This is Trophy the Scoundrel's Quarter, Part 32. When we last saw our treasure hunters, they had just defeated and beheaded Merrick Foucault. When you bring Merrick's head back to Fort Durin, or actually, you're going to be stopping off in the city, I think, first, into whatever the main city's called. I've already forgotten. Umbret. When you stop back into Umbret, you will get paid the equivalent of 3 gold each. So it's quite a lot of silver for freeing Old Kaleczenie from Marek Foucault. But you have a more immediate and pressing problem that you have to deal with right now. Two things. One, you have this monstrosity, which vaguely looks like Berwyn. It's at least made up of some of Berwyn's parts and did help in the fight and is presumably going to be joining the group somehow. And then also there's the matter of escaping Old Kaleczenie. I don't think you're going to be able to just go back to the wall and give them your valet parking slip and get your boat back up the wall. I don't think it's going to work like that. You're going to have to find another way out of the city. The city is sealed up, though I will remind you that Alina's son did claim to have a way out of the city. Unfortunately, Alina's son ran off after trying to kill Alina. So, some complicated situations kind of in the air right now. I think I want to just pick up with the scene in that throne room with all the bodies and shit everywhere, and you've just beheaded Merrick Foucault. And just to put some pressure on the situation, I think I'm going to just fast forward a little bit and say you have barricaded yourselves in the throne room because Merrick Foucault's followers are outside demanding to know what's happening, maybe pounding on the doors. There are some high windows in the throne room if you need to escape that way, but I'll give you all a chance to have your scene together, to search the throne room if you want for treasure, because you also probably need some treasure to meet your burdens. Let's just go around the table and see what everyone's doing. Let's just have the scene. Role play.
And what on earth is that? And Alina's just looking at Berwyn in just complete and full disgust.
Cassian's gonna just elbow Alina in the arm. It's your tongue. That's your friend.
Was your
What?
At this point, Berwyn is just sort of heaving and panting as if he's exerted himself uh, by turning Torm into rubber and slapping around a giant fungus, as one is wont to do. But he'll start to sort of lumber over towards the others and looking at them curiously.
Are you
Alina,
still our friends? Are you still? Do we still name you Bowie?
And you see his like chest start to rise and heave, and finally something starts to come out of his mouth, and you see that it is half of one of those fanatics, and they just sort of fall to the ground and their flesh is melting into the earth, and Berwyn just takes his large foot and steps on it. I do say, oh, glad to get that on my throat.
are we sure he didn't eat Berwyn?
No one
Alina,
else would wear that cape.
Cassian, Torm,
What
it's so good to
happened
see
to
you.
you?
I, I, and at this point, he starts to kind of look down at his hands, and he realizes what he is, and he just starts shrieking, and all of those mouths start to open up in his throat, and he starts to wail again.
Yeah, bring him back to Fort Durin. Let's see how that goes.
My word, what happened?
If you really are Berwyn, then tell me something that only Berwyn would know.
Why do you suspect me otherwise?
Have you seen you?
And he's still shaking and like looking at his hands, and like some of his mouths are kind of gibbering. And
He it did help us defeat Merrick Foucault.
Torm, you were the first I met. The salt mines.
That
Is
much
that
is
true,
true,
Torm?
Alina.
He has been altered, but it's clearly still Berwyn.
We must find some way to help him, but for the present, I think we have more urgent matters to attend to.
Indeed, you do. You can hear people at this point. They've been like trying to call after their master, and now they're getting like a little anxious. There's starting to be more people. It's a it's an inconsistent entreaty, if I'm being honest. There's sometimes it's like let us in, sometimes they break out into song, sometimes fights are happening out there in the hall, but more and more people are coming, and now they are starting to bang repeatedly on the throne room doors, which I like to think is like piled up with bodies so that it can't open. But what is everyone doing right now? I think I want to just go around the table. Cassian, what are you doing?
Looking for another way out. A proper throne room's going to have a secret exit, some sort of emergency way out for the leader,
Oh,
right?
a very good point. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make a hunt roll? How are you searching for that?
I think I will use my tracking skills, see if there's wear in the flooring.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, go ahead and make the hunt roll with 2 dice.
6.
Nice. Take your token, and I'll tell you what you find in just a moment. I need to get into the die roller real fast. Fantastic. Alina, what are you doing?
I am going to look through the pockets of the people with the dead bodies, see if they have any gold or weapons.
That's what we're here for, Alina. We're hunting for treasure, no matter where we might find it. Please go ahead and make a hunt roll.
I think I can use my background as an expelled apprentice for this as well,
Just for
because I've
sneaky
been
behavior.
well, I've been in service, like as an apprentice, I've been in service to a religious figure, and it feels like these people were probably in service to Folkhold, so I probably know
Oh,
where
I
they
thought you were
would
going to
keep their
suggest
shit.
that religious figures always have their hands in someone's pockets, and
I
so
mean, that is not
I
what
guess
I was
there's
going to
that too.
suggest, but it is not wrong.
You can roll 2 dice.
Yay. I got a token, but I also encounter something terrible, which
Indeed, you
is
do.
exactly what we want.
Indeed, you do. Um. Oh, 1 second. Hold on. I accidentally opened a program I did not mean to open. Go away, please. Um. Fantastic. Let me take a look at my sheet real quick and see what might have happened here. You are going through the pockets of a body inside a pile of bodies. These bodies are, the skin is crusted over with the orange fungal growth. The eyes, I mean, on some of these people, the eyes have been just kind of like chewed up and liquefied by the fungus. You're going through the pockets, and one of the eyes of the body those pockets are going through, pops open. Oh, my love, you came for me. You came for me after all. And they are pulling you in. They hold of your wrist and they're pulling you in. Embrace me. Embrace me once more. If this is the sister's heaven, if I am dead, then it is a good death. This is a good place. I am here with you, my love. What do you do?
I would like to take out my curved ritual knife and mercy kill this person.
Yeah,
It's mercy.
I think that's probably a good idea. I don't think it's going to be a risk roll. I like you just being occupied with this for a moment. Torm, what are you doing?
I think Tom is concerning himself with trying to find things around the room to barricade the entrance with. So
To
I
keep
don't know.
keep the crowd out. I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
I'm happy someone is doing that because I was going to have them just burst in. So
Yeah, so I think like if there's any benches or tables or wardrobes, anything like that. So he's hunting around the room for
I want to make a
dragging
risk. I'm
those
gonna have to
kind
make
of
a risk
things.
roll to keep the crowd out. But I want to check in with Berwin first. Berwin, what are you doing?
He's a bit shell shocked right now, but I think that as the banging starts on the throne room doors and he sees kind of like corpses start to shuffle or shift, he'll help Torum. And if this is an actual throne room with an actual throne, he'll just pick up the throne and just try to put it in front of the door.
Nice. So we get a help roll in there if you need it. Torum, are you getting a? I mean, I think you're kind of using the environment, so I'll give you your die for that. And Ben, you can make a devil's bargain if you'd like.
I think there is a cursed item under the throne, and it's going to become attached to.
Oh, interesting. A cursed item. Ooh, intriguing. That's a pretty rough devil's bargain. I'll also put the
Maybe not.
scoundrel's quarter in danger as well, Torum. Just so you have some choices. We cannot hear you, Torum, if you're talking.
Sorry, I said I dig a cursed item.
Fantastic.
That sounds
And
fun.
you have 2 light dice. Do you want to go ahead and add? Well, you don't have to add dark die yet, but if you do, you can get the help roll from Berwin. So you can always get it later.
So 2 light. Is this inherently dangerous, or do I not
No,
have
I
to
think it's
add it?
just too light to start. Yeah.
Okay.
I would also
5.
have you be mindful of your very high ruin right now. Just another thing to be
Yes.
mindful of. You're going to succeed. There is going to be a complication. I think the complication is connected to the cursed object. The cursed object is going to be the original clump of sentient spores that caused all this shit.
Mhm.
I think it probably, yeah, I think it is going to, like, in order to keep propagating itself, in order to escape, it is going to try to latch onto you. It will latch onto you, and it is going to. Yeah, that's it. That's basically that. I'm just making the cursed object particularly nasty. If you want to avoid that and have a different sort of cursed object, you can add a dark die and try again. Bearing in mind that if you roll 6 on that dark die, your character retires.
I think that's too much of a risk. So, but geez, I don't want to be tracking Frumbly Orange Venom back to the Scoundrel's Quarter, do I? I think I'm going to have to do it.
Very well.
So that's 2 light, 1 dark, and I'm hoping for a 6, but not a dark 6.
Can I roll my help die?
The help die is only if Torum rolls with a dark die.
Got it.
You got to wait and see how this goes. So you're going to risk it, Torum?
I'm going to risk it.
Okay, let's see how it goes. Pretty risky. 6 light.
6 light.
The die roller decided to come through today so far.
For once.
For once. Cursed object, I think, instead is going to be something a little more mundane. We'll figure out what it is in a bit. But please go ahead and describe how, with Berwin's help, you're able to keep the crowd from bursting through the throne room.
Yeah, I think the door starts to open just as we manage to get some heavy wardrobe pulled in front of it, and then Torum brings up a huge metal wrought iron candle holder, like a post one, almost like a standard lamp of medieval times, and like wedges that into the fastenings of the door. And yeah, I think he and Bowen just exchange looks. hoping that what they've done is enough, and then starting to look around to see, okay, how the heck are we going to get out of here?
Yeah, Berwin, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that I think Torm is sort of maybe dragging things along in a more humanly manner, and shoving things away, and then I think that's when he just he hears it before maybe he sees it, but there's a sort of gust of wind as the throne is just sort of thrown against the doorway, and Berwin just sort of comes up against it and puts his hands on it, keeping it in place, bracing it.
I love it. Cassian, you're following these like grooves and like tracks. You're looking for like signs on the ground of like another way out, and you will find it. In fact, it is beneath the throne, but it's actually beneath the rug runner that is beneath the throne that kind of goes up on the dais. If you flip that back, this sort of moldering, disgusting carpet, you'll find a hatch. What do you do?
I think he'll see it and maybe stomp on it a bit with the boot to make sure it's hollow and not just some sort of weird Kaleczenie thing before
Yeah.
calling back to the others.
Alina, please describe how you dispatch this person who thinks that they're in heaven with their long lost love.
Hello. Okay, working. I think I take out my knife with my free hand because he's grabbed me by the wrist with this hand, and I think I just lean over and not gently, not very kindly. I think I just say, "May the nameless saint take you," and drive the curved knife down in through the middle of his throat and twist, just to make sure, he's not coming back from that.
Fantastic,
And I'm
fantastic.
patting myself on the back, the whole time, because this is really kind of me.
I love it.
Such a good person.
The hatch opens up into like a narrow spiraling staircase that goes down, and it appears to go down. You can kind of, just from the smell maybe, and because you're good at this sort of thing, Cassian, you can tell that it is opening up into, you can smell the sea. Like it goes into, like, it must be like going into like a sea cave or a cave that lets out onto the beach or thereabouts. So this could be a way out. What do you do?
I'll turn to the others and say, quickly, quick, this way, we can get out. You can smell the sea. Let's not linger. Can you fit, Berwin?
Just squish your body down in there. Right?
Basically, Berwin just sort of looks down at Cassian in the hole, and he just sort of shrugs a bit and puts one foot in. And yeah, his body just sort of compresses and squeezes through. You can hear kind of bones breaking as they do.
This may have been a mistake.
Is everybody going down?
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic.
I can't smell the sea. I can't smell the ocean, though. All I can smell is Berwin.
The staircase lets down into a new set called the Wretched Caves. The Wretched Caves is a cave system probably originally used by smugglers to enter the city, perhaps in its happier days that are now abandoned, but hopefully soon to be reclaimed. It also appears to be a way for the former family who ruled this place to escape when need be. Regrettably, none of you know the way, And you have a set goal of finding your way out of the labyrinthian caves to the beach to get to your ship. So you get down there. The caves are almost unbearably humid. A warmth that seems to pulse and throb. But maybe that's just the distant sound of waves rhythmically going back and forth that's making you feel that way. There are many patches of the putrid orange and white fungus covering the walls. Maybe this is the origin of the stuff. Who knows? The caves seem to wind in all directions. In the darkness and the oppressive humidity, it's hard to think and even harder to keep track of where you are. They sprawl upwards and downwards, as well as every cardinal direction. It's not great. What do you all do?
I
I
would like to use a ritual.
Which ritual would that be, Alina?
That would be guide. Conjure a thread to follow. It's so
Very-
useful.
It's in this situation, it is quite useful, actually.
But I don't want it to lead us out just yet. This is an
Oh.
escape route. This is still part of the escape route for whatever leader would have been in the throne room. And if you're going to escape, you're going to have a stash of something to grab so that you, when you escape, you can
Clever.
grab your stuff and go. Your bug out bag. So I want to find where the bug out bag is.
Ah, clever indeed. This will be a risk roll. I like it very much. Do you have a skill or piece of equipment that will help you with the ritual?
I think in this case, do I have any skills that are useful? I mean, I have skills and willpower and lore, but I think I'm going to find an equipment in my backpack to use. And I think in this case, it'll be. Oh, you know what? I would like to have. I don't know if it's in the backpack. A water diviner stick. You
A
know
dowsing rod, yeah.
Yeah, dowsing rock. Thank you. Yeah, water diviner stick.
Treasure dowsing rod. I love it. Fantastic. Go ahead and well, you got one light die, and we'll do all around the table devil's bargains. I'm gonna put the scoundrel's quarter in play.
No matter what, the guide works, but you are yanked away from the rest of us.
That's good.
I was going to say the guide works, but the go bag is like protected in some way, probably with a trap that the person going would
That's
know
pretty
how
good.
to
Yeah.
bypass.
Yeah.
No matter what, your son is following, aiming to stow away.
Oh, I gotta take the drama one. That's so good. Yes.
Very
Yes,
good.
I'm gonna go with my son.
What did we name him? I don't remember his name.
We haven't given him a name, I don't think.
Oh, he didn't have a name. Okay.
No.
Great. Fantastic. You have 2 light dice. You have to do a dark die because of guide. So go ahead and roll 2 light, 1 dark.
I rolled a 4 light. I can add a dark die and re-roll, and I'm going to.
What do you want to know what the complication is?
Yeah, I guess.
The complication is you are going to encounter a group of monstrous crabs the size of bulls with spiked and horned skin as well.
Oh, that's super still versus. But no, I'm definitely going to. I really need. I got a lot of burdens to meet.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna roll 2 light, 2 dark. 6 dark.
Nice. Your ruin goes up to what
I'm
now?
at 5 now.
Indeed. But you get there free and clear, so that's great. I would like for everybody to take a little bit of the narration, like first with Alina summoning the thread, and then everyone else just sort of like, how do we see you navigating? How do we see you managing the cave system? How do you deal with the oppressive humidity, the stench, avoiding the fungus, just all those kinds of details. Whoever wants to, well, Alina start, and then everybody else come in.
I conjure up the thread first, and we can see it. It's even down in these caves, it's glinting a little bit gold in the light. We can't see very far how far it goes because it's so humid and stenchy in here that it's your eyes will water and there's just not visibility. So I take out this dowsing rod that I have, and instead of using it to find where the ocean is, I'm having it guide me towards where there is more water in the air rather than particulates, so that we can avoid the really smelly, really hard, like bad visibility areas while we follow this string guide. Um, and I'm complaining the whole way about the stench of the caves and the stench of Berwyn.
Well, Berwyn's fine. He is big, but I think because of his malleable form, he's sort of like doesn't have any limbs here. He's just sort of like an earthworm, just sort of weaving his way through. Um, there are little like pseudopods that are maybe coming out of his mouth that are sort of pulling him along as well.
I think
Torum is kind of, sorry, go ahead.
you go.
Yeah, Torum is kind of using his innate skill and navigating mazes and labyrinths, and he's aware that the direction that Alina is going is not like the most direct route to the exit, but I think he's going to trust her for the time being, trust that she knows what she's doing.
I think Cassian, if anyone were looking at him and if he didn't have his face turned downward, he looked quite distracted. He's kind of twitching and every now and again reaching up to clear the orange gunk blossoming in his eyes. And the only reason he's following them at all is because Alina won't stop complaining, and so he can just follow the voice.
I'm so helpful.
This was a very clever move on your part, Alina, because the bounty was real. The thread takes you and leads directly to and stops at a large rock, which, if Torum and Berwyn help move to the side, leads to a hole in the ground. Inside the hole, there are a number of things. There is a chest of silver that is equivalent in game terms to 6 gold. There are notes of they're like banknotes, one for Amberet, one for Fort Durin, and one for a village in the Lavasti countryside. Those notes can be taken to the appropriate banks in those places and cashed in for money, or whatever's being held there. There is a little leather case with 3 silvery potions. You've seen these potions before. They're healing potions. They heal 1 ruin. And there is a ring. This is a silver ring that has a sort of like a stone set in it. And you can tell that there's magic here because the stone seems to have like a little, like it swirls like a little storm cloud inside. Who's taking what?
I'm just writing down everything that we got out of that. How many healing potions were there?
3.
3.
3. Thank you.
Saying I could really use one of those.
So Alina drinks all 3.
Yeah, knocking them back. I think
For the sisters!
that does sound like something she would do. She's terrible. I think yes. If I wouldn't, I would like to take 2 of those golds to down my
Yeah,
burdens a bit.
let's divide up the silver first. Who's taking how much of the silver? Sounds like Alina's taking 2 gold worth.
I'll take at least one, but
I'll take one if no one else needs.
I mean, I'll take an extra one.
Oh, I mean, I'll take one. I was bad at math. I was like, that was 6. No, I'll take the last one.
Well, so there's still one left, right?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's still one left. I'll take that extra one. Why not?
Yeah.
Alina gets more gold.
Who's taking each of the banknotes? There's the Ambrette banknote, the Fort Durand banknote, and the Lavasti Countryside banknote.
I have to go to Amberette anyway. I'll take the Amberette one.
I don't know. I want an adventure, so I'll take the Lavasti Countryside one.
I'll take the Fort Durand one. I am trying to get in good on the with Fort Durand because that's where I want to be the leader of the religious cults.
If there are no objections, then that just leaves the 3. Well, there's several more things. There's 3 silvery potions, the 3 healing potions. Who wants one?
Will the ring?
Rob, you're muted.
I would very much like at least one of those potions.
Will the
Assuming I
ring
know
mean
what
an
they do.
increase in burden?
If you keep the ring, it does increase your burdens by 1. It can be sold, however, for 6 gold. It's incredibly valuable. It's also very powerful.
The bats can start a fight. I don't want
Paper,
any more
scissors?
burdens.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
not for me. It's for Malkuth.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I'll take the ring.
Okay.
If you keep it after Hearthfire, you have to increase your burdens by 1, but only after Hearthfire. So, okay, so that's 1 potion sorted, the ring sorted. What about the other 2 potions?
I'll take one.
Berwin wouldn't insist, of course, but maybe in his condition, this potion might help him to some degree.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you both of the potions because you smell so bad. I'm just gonna be like, take it and go. Take it, make it, see if it'll work.
Work on this. Just
Yeah.
all of this.
I hope this is scented.
Fantastic. That's all. That's a pretty good haul. You're no closer to getting out of the caves, however. So what's the next plan here?
I would like to actually use one of my tokens. Oh, I want to use a token and get a gold, but I also want to use it for
You could also spend. You could all
spending
spend.
them.
You
Yeah.
could all spend 3 to get out immediately too.
Yeah, but our burdens are pretty high.
It's true. Yeah, I'm gonna use. I would like to turn one of my only hunt token into gold, please, or into treasure.
Fantastic. Do you want to name treasure? Or do you want to just take it as gold?
I'll just take it as gold.
Yeah, just say there's more silver. So
Found a little extra one hiding underneath the thing. And
Torum, you drank your potion already.
Yeah, just immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, probably a good move.
I have no armor left, and I was on 5 runes. So
Yeah. Probably a good move.
I wonder if, in an attempt to try and get out, because it's feeling a little claustrophobic, if I could use my rubber ritual to stretch myself in search of an exit.
I think it's too big. I don't think you can stretch your body as much as is needed to do that. I'm not sure how that's any better than just walking around anyway. They're tying you off at one spot.
Yeah, well, if it's the wrong way, just come right back.
That feels like a stretch, if you will. Any other ideas for getting out?
I think Quorum's just ability to navigate these kind of spaces is what I was planning to rely on.
You're our labyrinth guy. That's right. Yeah. Torum, do you want to take point on getting everybody out then?
Yeah, I think so. It's weird. We've established that, but I don't really have any skills that specifically relate to that. It's just kind of
let's see.
a vibe Tottenham has.
Yeah, you've got You really don't, is the thing. It's become part of your it's become part
Yeah.
of your vibes, but you don't actually have
Exactly.
any skills to this end. Maybe a
Maybe I
piece of
need to do
equipment that would be
some.
helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's any illusionary aspect to this cave system. It's just complicated. So, yeah, I'm not sure I really have anything there.
I have an idea.
Do tell.
I would like to consume some of the fungus coming from within me to uh, absorb its memories and understand the map of this cave system.
Oh, that's risky, and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, this is good. You have a light die for that. Jack, you can make a devil's bargain.
No matter what, this part of your body is permanently transformed with this orange fungus, and in a very visible way.
Oh, I will put the Scoundrel's Quarter in play as well.
What's our Scoundrel's Quarter at?
4.
Or
The odds are in your favor on that. I mean,
Yeah.
but don't you want to become a clicker?
I mean, I'm already partially wooden, so yeah, I think I'll endanger the Scoundrel's Quarter.
go ahead and roll that now. Roll Ruin.
Dark 6.
Dark 6 goes up to 5. I'll remind you that the campaign ends immediately if the Scoundrel's Quarter ever goes to 6. So, you are now at 5. Very good. You have 2 light dice, and I think you have to take a dark dive for eating this stuff. So,
Oh, wait, wasn't that what I rolled?
You were
No,
Oh, no,
rolling
you were
that was
supposed
for
to
Scoundrel's
roll the
Quarter.
ruin for the Scoundrel's Quarter.
Scoundrel's Quarter.
Oh.
You rolled. Oh, you made your roll already. Oh, got it.
Yeah, sorry,
Roll.
sorry.
I misunderstood that. Go ahead and make a ruin roll for the Scoundrel's Quarter as well.
Got it.
Got it. Yeah.
A
That
4.
might- Okay, that's okay still. So you're still at 4 on that. However, you got a 6 dark on your risk roll. What does your ruin go up to?
5.
Your ruin goes up to 5. Oh, okay. What is this like? I mean, give me the narration here. How are you experiencing it? How are you navigating out of here?
I think hearing everyone kind of bickering about which way to go and Berwyn's dismay at not being able to Mr. Fantastic us out of here, I think Cassian just kind of curses under his breath and drops down into a hunch and starts tearing the fungus from his eyes and just shoving it in his mouth. And his eyes cloud over as he accesses this ritual. And he knows he's giving more of himself over to the fungus, but in doing so, he's also taking from it. And he can feel each strand of mycelia throughout this cave. And so I think kind of like a slightly more effective Mr. Magoo, he stands up and says, "This way," and just leads through the mass.
Any little denouements from anyone as we wrap up this incursion? Maybe on the boat or making your way out of the cave system. I have a little thing to add at the end, but if everybody else wants to chime in on their character's end here at the conclusion of Foucault's Bounty.
I think we see Toron inside his coat or whatever it is he's wearing. He's looking at the blue rose that belongs to Lady Perron, and he's glancing at Berwyn as well, and wondering if some fey help might be what's needed to restore something like the Berwyn we knew.
I think I'm just throwing holy water at Berwyn. Or I'm actually just scooping water out of the ocean with a bucket and blessing it and tossing it on Berwin, actually.
In contrast to that, I think Berwin doesn't, he's not affected by that. Not just like physically, but like he doesn't notice it. I picture him sort of on the other end of the boat, away from the others, just sort of staring off in the horizon. And because he can't blink, the sun is just sort of in his eyes, and he's just watching it go. And there's these occasional splashes at his back from Alina, but he doesn't move. He's just contemplative right now.
I think Cassian would wander up and just kind of just shake his head at Alina, just disapproving dad face, and then just put a hand on Berwin's shoulder. Not say anything because he wouldn't.
Alina does stop when you give her a disapproving dad look and
It's
looks
the
not
orange, isn't it?
ashamed, but um, just like, oh, okay, oh, I suppose I'll go over here.
We'll wrap up on the several-day voyage across the bay to Ambaret from Old Kaleczenie. You'll discover something about that ring, Cassian. It seems to have the ability to control the weather. How do you first discover that?
I think maybe as he's glaring at Alina, wearing that ring, he kind of, does a wave off, and the wind gusts twice in the same direction as his hand. He doesn't put anything to it at first, but I think, yeah, after another weird little coincidence like that, he tries it on purpose, and I think you just see a small stifled smile on his lips.
Fantastic. One night on your voyage, we see the boy creeping about the cabins, and he sneaks into Torum's cabin. And here I'm combining something I owe you with this complication. He goes into you're there sleeping, and he takes out of his pocket a very, very tiny, small, I mean, like really, really little seashell, like a little spiraling seashell. And he puts it in your boot, Torum. And then he sneaks out back into the corridor and back into the little spot where he's hiding, stowing away. But Torum, I'm going to give you a condition that you will not be able to clear for a time, which is called Curse of the Lady Beneath. And we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll come back and do Hearthfire, examine the Hearthfire options to see what you want to do, how you want to spend your money. I'll see you in 10. We're back for Hearthfire. You all know how this works. We start by meeting burdens. If you meet your burdens, you are able to unmark all of your armor. So you're each going to get 3 gold for turning in Merrick's head. I do want to know if Hearthfire is taking place in Ambaret or Fort Durin. You can still stash gold away eventually in your hoard, but I just want to know if you have returned to Fort Durin or if you are hanging out at Ambaret for a time. What do we think?
I was thinking Fort Durin, but I'm not opposed to doing the Umbrette thing. But in my head, it was going to be Fort Durin.
I think Cassian might just steer the boat to Ambaret and not ask.
Yeah, it makes sense to be there, given that's where we had to return to.
If there's no objections, then I think we have 3-ish votes for Ambaret then. Okay, that just affects like if you do any narrative options like for healing, it just affects you have
So
to.
like if we have our home, we can't go to it.
Well, so here's the thing. Um, Technically, I would say no, but I will allow you to also like I don't know, find a space in Umbaret that you feel comfortable in.
Oh, I know where we'll go.
Yeah, Umbaret's a big city. You should be able to find some place to lay down your burdens um, for a time. It'll be a chance to explore the city a little bit. So I'm more interested from the standpoint of what happens next more than I am on the Hearthfire side of things. So meeting burdens, Torum, are you able to meet your burdens with your 3 gold payout?
I'm exactly able to meet
Fantastic. Go
burdens.
ahead and unmark your armor. Cassian, are you able to meet your burdens?
Exactly able.
Fantastic. Alina, are you able to make your burdens?
I even have one left over.
Fantastic. And Berwin.
Exactly. Left over.
Fantastic. Let's keep going around the table. Torum, you are at a 4 ruin. Do you want to try to lower your ruin somehow? Or
Yeah,
otherwise engage with Hearthfire?
I have spices from an overturned cart that I feel I don't have a ton of use for.
Actually, well, first of all, do you have a household?
I believe so. Yes, I do.
Okay, so you can get the benefit of household by. Do you have a household? I'm looking now.
Yeah.
You get the benefit of house. Yeah, you do. You can get the benefit of the household, meaning you get to lower your ruin by 1 and clear any conditions you wish, except for Curse of the Lady Beneath. But I just want to know. I want to just see how you unwind in Umbaret. Like, what's different in the city, like versus the Fort Durant's big, but it's nowhere. It's not even a fraction the size of Umbaret. Like, how are you getting lost in Umbaret? How are you clearing your conditions? How are you clearing your troubles?
Yeah, I think I don't know, Torum is staying to the fancier parts of the city. I think just walking around in admiration at the glorious buildings and parks, and probably drawing a lot of attention because he's just this huge horned man. Um, that I think nobody there knows how to react to. He's not doing anything threatening, and he's unfailingly polite when he interacts with anyone, but at the same time, not the type of person they're used to seeing in those districts. And I think he's just looking for a kind of delight in anything that has a touch of the ethereal to its beauty.
Trying to get in a little hit of Lady Peril.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that. Cassian, are you going to take advantage of household as well?
Yes.
Lower your ruin by 1 and clear any conditions you wish. How do you unburden yourself in this urban environment?
I think I'm going to merge this with my final healing narration to find a truly beautiful place in or near town. And I think it is the secret temple to the Old One of the Forest, the one that he stumbled upon that night that he ran from the castle. And I think heading back there feels a little bit like heading home. It's largely empty. I think it may have been a cistern under the city once upon a time, but it has been invaded by trees and vines from probably the forest. And the worshippers there have spent great effort making it into almost like a church. And going there always helps him center himself, remember what he's doing this for, even if that reason has changed. And so I'm going to clear seasick and the infection, but his wooden hand, it's orange now.
Fantastic. Love that. Thank you. Alina, would you like to take advantage of household? And if so, how do you unburden yourself?
I would love to take advantage of my household, and I think I don't know, somehow I've rented a room, I suppose, in Amberette, and I think I am just soaking in a large bath. It's not fancy. It's basically just an oversized bucket. But I think, my legs are hanging out one side and hanging my head off the back, and just you can tell that the water is very scented. It's very fragrant. Just sort of getting the smell of Old Kaleczenie off of me, uh, trying to wash away all of those memories.
Can't blame you for that. Berwin, my guess is you're not able to just roam around freely in the city, completely un undisguised, but maybe you are. I don't know. But are you going to take advantage of household here in order to clear a ruin and any conditions you'd like?
Yeah, I also had a question. Because I'm looking at my found equipment, and I have a
Hmm.
welcoming committee dagger. Is that worth anything, or is that just sort of ornamental?
Welcoming Committee Dagger. What's that from?
It's from the beginning of the frenzy,
Oh,
when we were
that's
at the
right.
gates.
Oh, yeah, you could probably get a gold for that. Yeah,
Okay. Could I sell that now, or do you want me to wait?
sure. No, that's fine. This is the place to sell it. There's going to be some weirdo who's going to want some relic from Old Kalexany, right? Some
Got it.
memento.
So then I would like to tie in my household scene with my horde scene, if that's okay.
I love it.
He, I imagine that we dock maybe at night, and he is not unaware of his size and his current state, and so I think that he sort of sticks to the shadows, and maybe he even spends some time on the boat, a few days on the boat, just not moving. He like a mound of flesh, and then finally he gets the nerve to, it's maybe a darker night, and he gets the nerve to walk about, sticking to the shadows still, and in lieu of the household that he knows back in Fort Dern, he is going to go to the Temple of the Peerless Star. Because of course
You
he's
have
a worshiper.
memories there. Yeah.
He has the medallion there, and I think when he wanders in at night, there's a few acolytes who are maybe taken aback, obviously, uh, but there's one that pays him a tenderness, a kindness that he isn't expecting, and so I'm gonna reduce my room in that way. But uh, while he's here, this acolyte, they begin to talk about his journey, what took him from the temple, and what brought him back. And the acolyte says to him, "It seems that you are in need of some comfort that I don't think the star alone can provide." And he sort of looks around, making sure that the coast is clear, and says, "I can show you something. Perhaps it'll give you some grace." And Berwin agrees, and they go to a deep vault in the temple. You know, always, I wasn't always a devotee of the star itself. Many of us weren't. Some of us followed the saints. There is a piece here in a great vault to the torchbearer, Saint Honor. And Berwin looks at him curiously, and they make their way to this vault, and he's allowed in. They don't touch anything, and Berwin is respectful, but they just glance upon the reliquary of Saint Anna. And Berwin, so broken, but feeling the sort of renewed sense of connective faith, begins to weep. And as he does, the acolyte does his best to care for him until he realizes that the tears aren't clear and salty. They're neon orange, and they are sizzling as they hit the floor. But they begin to sprout and cluster into this sort of mound, this cluster of fungus that resembles a woman's head, her face, kind of short brownish hair, if there were, hair follicles to have a kind of visage that reminds him of the woman he loved, and he picks it up off the ground. And that's going to be his memento for his house.
I love it. Actually, that's a good reminder. Thank you. That's a good reminder. Cassian and Torum, what mementos do you take from the city? Or from your adventures?
Would the cursed item count as a memento?
Oh, the little shell?
Yeah.
You're not aware of the shell yet, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, right.
Cassian, any thoughts?
I think Cassian has made a small charcoal study of Bidar
Oh,
as a
interesting.
reminder.
Okay, good. You like that? Poor Vidar. His heart was in the right place, I feel.
I think I have a jar of stew.
Just in perpetuity, a jar of stew.
Just
You can
sit
eat that,
on
or
the-
just let it sit in an airtight jar forever.
I'm definitely not going to
Fermenting.
eat it. Might come in handy.
Yeah, you know. Torum, any other thoughts on what you're taking? I'll think on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll think on it.
Okay, let's keep going around the table for Hearthfire. I'm gonna swing back over to you, Torum. Torum, do you have anything else you need to do?
Just real quick.
Sure.
The reason I did the whole Saint Honor thing is because as part of my horde, I had to answer which sister I've dedicated myself
Oh,
to.
yeah.
So I've dedicated myself to Saint
good.
Anna.
Oh, very good.
And the next time I perform a rite to thanks during an incursion, I get to clear an emotional or psychological condition.
Fantastic. Which saint is this? Is this you said the Torchbearer saint?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ara.
Ara.
Ara, yeah. Fantastic. And okay, I love that. Yeah, that's great. You'll probably need that at some point. Fantastic. Okay, well, back to you, Torum. Torum, anything else you want to do for Hearthfire?
Yeah, I want to maybe stash 1 gold or pay for some additional healing. I have this spices from an overturned cart. I
That
would
could,
like to sell if possible.
it's worth 1 gold. Yeah, you can.
Okay. And then I can heal another ruin with 1 gold, right?
You can, yeah.
I think that's the insanest use for it at the moment. So I'm going to do that.
Fantastic.
That gets me all the way back to my starting run. So,
Yeah, your starting run's quite low. Fantastic. Cassie, anything else you want to do for Hearthfire?
Yeah, I'm going to sell the Old Kaleczenie Welcoming Committee mask, and with that 1 gold, I would like to carouse to find someone to sell this painting to.
Ah, that is why you need to be here, right? How much did we say that painting's worth?
20 gold.
It's a lot. Yeah. I've got some ideas for that. Carouse will happen. I have an idea for the carouse. I'm not interested in the bar. We're gonna do something different, but we'll revisit that when we're done with Hearthfire. Let's keep going. Alina, anything else?
Yeah, I would like to heal.
Hmm.
I'm going to narrate a scene showing a private side of few others see. And we see again Alina in this bucket, this tub, having a nice soak. And she stretches out her arms, stretches out her shoulders, brings them back, pushes herself out of the tub, and the suds drip down, and she is naked. And you can see on her chest, either we haven't noticed this before, and it hasn't really had any context, but she has a large birthmark on her chest over her heart, and it is the same shape as the birthmark on her son's face.
Interesting. The plot thickens. Intriguing, intriguing. I won't have your son sneakily watching you while you bath. Um, let's go to Berwin. Anything else you want to do for Hearthfire, or did you do all yours?
I did all mine.
Okay. Torum, are you finished?
I believe so.
Cassian, are you finished?
Can I do something with that Amberat banknote while I'm here?
You can actually, yeah. If you want to cash that in, it's worth 3 gold.
Yeah, I will do that.
Hmm.
And then I think I will use 1 to get rid of that last ruin and then put 2 in my horde.
Fantastic. Which horde mark are you going to do?
The person, place, or thing in town that reminds me of my drive.
Hmm.
I think in this case it's not something in Amberat. It is Malkuth's warhammer sitting on his mantle at home. I think that's always a weight upon his shoulders, and so that's what he's thinking of when he stashes that away.
Fantastic. Alina, are you done with Hearthfire?
I am.
Okay, so for people watching the video, let's just go around and see where everybody stands in terms of their horde. After 32 sessions, where not granted, not every character's been here the whole time, but you have had characters worth of chances to acquire some horde. Some of it has been lost forever, some has been reclaimed for new characters. Let's see where we stand. Torum, where are you at in the horde race?
I am at 16.
16
not-
out of 50. Cassian,
Yeah.
how about you?
15.
15 out of 50. Alina,
4.
4 out of 50. And Berwin, you are carrying over from Berwin. What do you have?
11.
11. Okay, good. 11 out of 50. Oh, Jesse Ross and your little joke of horde and gold. It's impossible. It's okay, though. I don't know, though. 20 gold's a lot for a painting. That would get you pretty far. We'll see. Okay, knowing that carouse is about to happen, and knowing that you decided to stay in the city, I have an idea for what I think is going to happen next. I do want to know a couple of things. Are you all going to want to do a Trophy Dark incursion in order to reduce the Scoundrel's Quarter ruin, or do you want to keep playing Trophy Gold with these characters?
Dark would be fun.
Say that again, Rob. You broke up.
Dark would be fun.
Okay,
I'll
that's a
swing
vote for
a vote
Dark.
for that.
I feel like dark is the responsible thing to do.
Very good.
I mean,
If
now
we-
you say it was responsible. I kind of want to just keep doing gold.
That's kind of what I hoped you would say.
That's 1 vote Gold, 2 votes Dark. Cassian,
I think dark.
3 votes Dark. We'll take a 10-minute break. I have an idea for a scene that we're going to do to sort of tie up the Trophy Gold story for now and to satisfy the carouse, and then we'll transition into a dark incursion. If everybody wants to go ahead and make a Trophy Dark character while we're on break, let's take 15, in fact, so you can make a Trophy Dark character, and then we'll come back and do all that. Okay. You spend a number of weeks in Umbret, resting up, maybe skulking around in the shadows if you're Berwin. At one point, Cassian, perhaps in response, well, no, definitely in response to you putting out word all around the inns and taverns of looking for a buyer for the painting, you do receive a message waiting for you in the nightstand of your inn room. It is an envelope that has been wax sealed with an image of a bull. It's an invitation to a private dinner to discuss the sale of the painting. It is signed an old friend.
Yeah.
Torum, well, question. Cassian, are you going to go to this?
I don't think Cassian would feel like there's many other options. So
Torum, you during your weeks in Umbaret, you are picking up signs, perhaps, of Lady Peril's, if not presence, at least the idea that she might be watching you. You see moths landing on your windowsill in great numbers. Perhaps while walking along the pier, you see floating on the wind a diaphanous cloth that perhaps reminds you of her realm. But what you start to see over and over and over again are beetles. Beetles scurrying, crawling, and always in the same direction. And one night you see a beetle crawling out from under your bed, out your in room door, and down the hall and down the stairs. Do you follow it?
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Alina, someone just puts a bag over your head and kidnaps you. And they say, as they toss you in a cart, "Greetings from Bright Teeth Assyrio," and you are hauled off.
Oh, the subtlety.
The subtlety. Berwyn, you get no invitation or kidnapping or anything else, but you do notice that same night you see Cassian wandering his way through the city somewhere. You see Torum from a different part of the city, but wandering, and they seem to be converging in the same direction. And though you don't know anything about Alina being kidnapped, the cart holding Alina is also going in this direction. Do you follow your companions?
Yeah, why not? Of course, sticking to the shadows, trying to keep it cool. But yeah, he'll lumber on over.
Indeed. Cassian and Torum, you arrive in the same place. A little lean-to in an alleyway with a door that it's a pretty nondescript kind of entrance to somewhere, this building, or maybe a basement area beneath the building. The two of you can just come upon each other thinking you had some special invitation, perhaps, only to discover you're here together. The beetle crawls underneath the door. You might not have seen each other for a number of days.
did you get a letter?
In a manner of speaking. A message, at least.
Our
What are you
old
two
friend.
doing?
You too? How did you get a letter?
I got no letter. I just was out and about, taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells of the city. Well, I saw the two of you converging.
A cart rolls by, and a person wrapped in a tarp is dumped at the doorway. Alina, you are dumped at the feet of your companions.
Someone get this bag off of my head right now! You
Must
hear
we?
me? You can't do this to me! Hello?
Berwin will pull it off, and you'll be the first thing you see.
Ugh!
Ugh,
Merwin, why did you do this to me?
it was not I.
Well,
Nor I.
it was actually Bright Tooth Assyria?
What? Oh, gods.
Who?
What do they want with us?
This might be my fault.
That
Cassian,
is
you're
not
basically a
who I
hero.
thought we were meeting.
How could this be your fault?
I put out feelers.
Well, I'm sure whatever you did, you had good reason to do so. And I'm still like trying to pull myself out of this tarp. Just struggling.
Cassian will really consider not helping before finally helping.
Indeed, indeed. Do you all go into the little side entrance of this building?
Yes.
Feel like I kind of have to.
You take some
After
stairs.
you, Berwin.
Berwin looks to the door and says, "No, I'll need to readjust for a moment. You go ahead."
You go down some stairs, which lead to a landing at the bottom. A few flights. And there's a doorway. No door, just an arched doorway. As you pass through the arched doorway, you feel a slight crackle of energy, as if you have walked through some sort of thin magical barrier, say. And inside there is a semicircular table at which is seated Patience Davies, Iotho, and Bright Teeth Assyrio. They seem to be working on a bottle of wine, though Patience is just, for decorum's sake, has a glass of wine in front of her. She can't actually drink it because she's a massive insect. But she's there with her black robe and her white mask. Iotho's there in the center, taking up the great one whole side of the table with his bulk, his massiveness. And Bright Teeth is there. Some of you will remember him. He's the man who betrayed you at the Smoldering Moor. And he's there wearing a half mask, a half fox mask, and smiling his big toothy smile. Patience says, "We're very glad you could all make it, though one of your number was not invited."
Before we begin, I think it's worth noting that I do not have the painting on me, and we also killed Maris Foucault.
Yes, we heard about your exploits in Old Kaleczenie. Most impressive. That is at least in part why you're here right now. Bright Teeth leans in and says, "The three of us have decided to set aside our rivalry in order to engage in a joint venture. And we're looking for a fourth member of the partnership. Collectively, you all could be that fourth. You should not interpret that to mean that collectively you are one of our equals. Far from it. But you have proven yourselves to be very talented treasure hunters, and therefore you are of some use to us. We have a proposition for you, Iotho says, leaning in, his perfectly smooth, bald head glimmering in the very low lamplight on the table. It's a remarkably understated room, considering the company inside. They make you a deal. I'm not going to roleplay all that. They have found what they believe is Old Kaldur, the ancient city, the ancient civilization that gave birth to the current world, but that was brought low by some catastrophic event, the precise nature of which is not completely known. They have at different times hired various scholars and explorers to try to locate this place, and they have found it. You know this. You know to some degree they've been after this and from this. They've been looking for this place. Some of you have even been indirectly connected to their finding of the place. They have decided to join together instead of erasing each other to the heart of Old Kaldur. They have decided to join forces. They need a group, however, of talented treasure hunters to go in with for them. That would be one of your contributions to the joint venture, is yourselves. That is not nearly enough. You can come in as an equal partner in their joint venture by giving them the blasphemous painting from the ancient world. In exchange, because you will be part of the joint venture, your ability to operate in Old Kaldur as treasure hunters will be greatly enhanced by the fact that each of you will have your burdens reduced by 3. Furthermore, they will give you a team of hirelings as well as enough carpenters and various merchants and other people to establish a camp, a small community at the entry site to Old Kaldur that you can return to as you need. Anything you find, any gold, any artifacts, any treasures, is yours. They only want one thing. They want you to reach the heart of Old Kaldur and discover why the city fell. They've made their offer. Are you going to take it? It's really Cassian's to decide, ultimately, to some degree, because of the painting, but the rest of you can discuss it.
Well, it seems like a fairly obvious choice to me. I mean, it's very low risk. Well, as
Mr.
low risk as anything goes.
Berwin will sort of hunch down towards Cassian and, as much as he can, whisper, "These seem like charlatans, Mr. Cassian. Not to be trusted."
That is an understatement. Having fewer debts won't serve us well if we're eaten by a serpent below the ground.
Yes, but how many serpents are we going to have to encounter before we can get that kind of money anyway?
You haven't been around long enough.
And yet, I do find myself intrigued with what we may discover there.
There's always a catch with them. It's never this simple.
Of course.
We stay one step ahead of them then.
I do not propose we go into this rashly.
Berwin will turn to the three at the table and say, While I am a more recent addition to this colorful menagerie, it does seem to me that you might be keeping something from us, not giving us the entire story.
The only thing we are keeping from you is what we do not know. We have gone to some great trouble to try to discover the location of Old Kaldur within the Great Forest. We were rivals in this for many years. We have decided to put that aside. We have decided to trust each other. So surely you can find it within your hearts to trust us. Believe me, if any of the three of us are going to betray anyone in this room, it's the other two people on this side of the table. But I don't foresee that happening.
Three burdens each, huh?
3 burdens each.
That's too good to pass up.
We gotta do it.
We gotta do it.
That's how the story works.
Cassian won't like it, but
Very well, then shall we shake on it?
yes. Bourbon?
Berwin extends a very large, meaty, malformed hand.
Bright Teeth extends a very small, fine-fingered hand. The sort of hand that is very good at getting into places it doesn't belong.
We shake, but the fingers curl around his arm, and they almost sort of start to form into these sort of tentacle shapes. And he pulls them in closer, kind of looking him in the eyes, or at least the eyes of the mask. And with a sort of slight crushing motion, says to him, I do hope that this is a good, clean deal between good, clean people. Yes.
Absolutely, Bright Teeth says. Iotho reaches forward his thick, pudgy fingers to shake. Is everyone shaking?
Yes.
Patience doesn't have hands, but a mass of beetles crawls out from under her sleeve and crawls over all of your hands together. And the venture is sealed. You are all business partners now. And that will be that for Trophy Gold for the time being.
So we all reduce our burdens by
By 3, yeah.
3.
I'm dropping mine to 4 because I'm keeping that ring now.
Yeah, indeed. I think it puts everybody else at 3, right? Fantastic.
Yes, that's me.
And when we find these characters again, we will begin Roots of Old Kaldur, which is the mega incursion. But for now, let us wander over to another part of the world, because the forest still has to have its tendrils shaken off, and that requires sacrifice, I'm afraid. Where shall be the altar that these poor treasure hunters will be offered upon? Let us see, let us see. I'm trying to remember what we've done. Have we done Mother?
No.
We have not done Mother. Mother it is. Mother. If you ask any experienced treasure hunter to name the most terrifying thing in the forest, there is always one location that comes up more often than not. It goes by many names. the fall, the well, the quarry. Despite its many names, it's always described the same way. The ground ahead of me had a slight decline, the descent eventually opening up to a massive hole as wide across as 10 score men lying foot to head. I got closer to see what might be down there. Every step forward filled me with vertigo. That I might fall in at any minute. I couldn't see the bottom, but I heard it. 1,000 hammers tapping against 1,000 chisels. Plink, plink, plink. Here is where the stories diverge. Some say there are miners down there looking for gold, silver, or precious gems. Others say it's sculptors crafting idols and rare artifacts for their chthonic gods. Whatever is down there hasn't seen the light of day for hundreds or thousands of years. Anything brought back would surely be a unique trophy capable of fetching a sizable sum. Oddly, the precise location of this vast opening never seems to be identified in the same place. Some say it is only a few miles off the south bank of the Nave River, while others place it well to the north, nestled in the depths of the forest. These conflicting reports can almost certainly be attributed to the disorientation nearly all treasure hunters suffer after time spent in the terrible woods. These treasure hunters arrive at the quarry. Let's go ahead and meet them for now. Let's go around the table, meet these characters. Let's see, do we have a Trophy Dark tab? Am I looking at the right one? Alicio, Talia, Hato, and Proclus?
You are.
Yes.
Fantastic. Let's go across, starting with Alicio and your fabulous white tiger. Tell us about Alicio, Amanda.
Elycio he's very tall and striking. He has feathered blonde hair, and his outfit is always very pristine and kind of sequinedy, a little bit flashy. And he's always got some sort of animal with him when he's not, dungeon diving, basically. His occupation is ranger, skills in beast hunting and traps. Background is an emboldened rat catcher. He used to catch the rats and then train them to do stunts and tricks for money, and skills in lairs. His drive is to become part of the swirling court. Now, the others don't really know that that's what he's trying to do, but he is. Rituals
Intriguing.
are compel, bind, and beast. We'll get into that later.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Jack, tell us about Talia.
Talia, pronouns are she, her. She is currently a magician, which gives her the skills in performance, rituals, and trickery. Her background is as a banished dancer, which gives her the skill and grace. Perhaps unbeknownst to Talia as well, she also wants to become a part of the Thorling Court. And her rituals are blink, fantasy, and mirror.
How intriguing. So many of you want to join the swirling court. I love it. Let's keep going with Rob and Hato.
Otto is he, him. He is a wiry, constantly moving, constantly talking merchant. His background is a reformed thug. So between those two things, he has skills in bribery, focus, persuasion, and intimidation. He also, unbeknownst to the others, wishes to become part of the Swirling Court.
How
And
intriguing.
his rituals are hospitality and emote.
I love it. And finally, Proclus.
Yeah, Proclus, pronouns he, him, is a very tall, very strong, very handsome man. He has the occupation of champion, which gives him the skills of commands, ferocity, presence, and he is a grounded sailor, so he also knows ropes. He has the rituals of yoke and fault, and everyone knows he wants to become part of the Swirling Court. He never shuts up about it.
Fantastic. I love it. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and see what these characters are up to. We'll get into the role play more next time. For now, I want to just tell you that you've arrived at this large hole in the ground. You cannot see to the bottom, and dropping rocks down never results in a returning echo. Though the rocks always fall in a particular spiraling pattern, no matter where you drop them from. You are strapped into your harnesses, rope in hand, one by one, rappelling down into this vast opening. Horizontal veins chase around the wall, indicating the layers and layers of history that have built up in this land. Most of the veins are some shade of brown or gray, except for one, which is a blood-red clay that seems to spiral red in the earth. At one point, one of you, Talia perhaps, your shoulder brushes against this red clay, leaving a blood-red smear, as if something had taken a bite out of you. The rappelling rope, as you all go down, twists and strains ever more with each person who goes down the side. Your lifeline just keeping you all from plummeting down to the bottom. Talia, how did you overcome the vertigo that hit you upon seeing the quarry?
She is a natural dancer, so she has learned tricks to keep her balance, keep her sense of orientation. And so one of the tricks that she uses in her own dance is called spotting, where she will make a mark, and every time she has to move, or if there's some movement, she always knows that there's some point of focus to have. And so as she's going down, the ropes maybe twirl a little bit, kind of, it would be dizzying to someone who wasn't maybe familiar with this technique, but she always has a point of reference and always comes back to it.
Proclus, why are you uncertain about how securely the rope is fastened?
Proclus is a big guy, and I think he doesn't trust any equipment that he hasn't had a lot of time to make sure it won't break unless he wants it to.
Eliseo, what legend do people share about the spiraling vein of blood-red clay?
Stories say that in this area there lived a great beast, a monstrous, many-headed creature that ruled over the land here. And a group of brave villagers tried to evict this creature from its land, and the creature spilled the blood of the entire village all over. And as it sank into the ground, and the bones of the people sank into the ground over time, it began to take on shapes. The people trying to tell their story, trying to warn people away. But that's just a rumor.
Haddo, I think you're last in. Your harness snaps, and you fall. Which of the other three tries to catch you?
I think Hato falls screaming and cursing and yelling and calling out for help. And I think Talia is the quickest, but Proclus is the strongest. So between the two of them, Yeah, probably Proclus.
We'll see how it goes next time. Let's go ahead and go to Stars and Wishes. A busy session going all over the place, but that's what we like. Whoever wants to kick off, please do.
I mean, I can go. I like going first because then I can just agree with everybody else's later and be like, yeah, that too, that too. Um, Jack, there was a moment where I was super disgusted by Berwin, like in the best way. It was when you were hacking up the body of like the body parts of the person you ate. Oh my god, that was so gross. And then you did it and you're like, oh, and then you had your Berwin voice back but deeper. That was a great moment. That really shined a lot of light on how Berwin is going to be now. And I really really enjoyed it. Um Ben for going along with the mad plan to go down to Old Caldor. Big stars for that because we were literally talking on break how you are almost like if between the painting and some of the ring, you would be like what 8 or 9 gold away from doing like your entire hoard, which is unheard of. So that is, that's a choice to do that. So I'm really glad you did. I also really enjoy Cassian leaning hard into the whole mushroom man thing that's going on. I'm really excited to see more of what's gonna come out of that, especially as we go down into the old Caldor where we're not going to have so many options to get out of things. I think it's gonna cause a lot of interesting things. And thanks for letting Alina kind of hero worship you a bit because it's really awkward. Rob, I love Torum. I was really nervous that Torum wasn't going to get all of his burdens and have to sell was it the ring? Yeah, the ring because
Oh, the
I don't want that to
rose.
happen. I want to see more of these people. I want to see more of your character interacting with Lady Peril because it's so fun and interesting. I really like your idea of finding out like using Fae to try and heal Berwin. I think that's going to be I mean, that's something we can run with, right? That's going to be a really cool idea. So I'm hoping we get to do something like that. So stars for coming up with all of that. It was lovely. Jason, horrible noises, horrible descriptions. Well, there wasn't so many horrible noises this time, but there was a lot of horrible descriptions that were bone chilling. And I'm looking forward to what kind of chaos you bring in the next trophy gold session when we go down to the mega dungeon. I'm excited for a mega dungeon. I've never done one before.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
Sure. I was just going to say, I'm really glad Torin managed to make it out with some burdens. I'm really excited for the mega dungeon because I've never done a mega dungeon before, and it does feel like we're building to a climax, right? It feels like this is, yeah.
Well, we could probably get
Like,
like 20 more sessions out of Roots of Old Caldor.
oh, sure, yeah. What I mean is that
Yeah.
that like it's hard to imagine. Oh yeah, I don't think we're like close to the end, but like, you know, Roots of Old Caldor is kind of
It's the
the
ultimate thing.
thing, right? Yeah. So
We've been
it would be
hinting
a
at
great
it
way
like
to,
from the very beginning, right? Like
right. It
it's
would
a
be a great way to
possibility.
kind of
Yeah.
wrap up the
Yeah.
entire campaign if we decide to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very interested in following up on the Coram's feelings about wanting to help Berwin recover his humanity. I'm really interested in seeing what that curse is going to be all about. That was a really intriguing thread. Cassian's continued. Now he's like wood and fungus in part. But both of those feel really fitting for that character. So like that's definitely thematically great. And Yeah, I don't know. I'm just super looking forward to getting all of these folks down into that mega dungeon and probably not out again.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like cool threads came out of the session, like a lot of cool things for for potential new story beats. A star for autophagia for Kazian eating his own eye fungus to use a ritual. I thought that was really clever. And we always have like really clever ways of using rituals. That's so it wasn't surprising in that way, but it's a really cool way of using that ability. Um, for Torum, I am really I don't know. I'm really heartened to hear that he wants to help Big Boy Berwin out from one big guy to another. And yeah, a start to that, but then also a wish to see how that would play out. And Alina, God bless her, just splashing the holy water at him periodically, just to like both purify, but also maybe to like cover up his unique stew scent with brine. You know, love her for that. So supportive. And then Jason, I maybe everyone else figured it out. I hadn't figured it out until now that Patience Davies was a mound of beetles until today. I'd always thought she was just like some like uppity white woman, but no, she's just a thing of beetles, which
She's a mass of beetles. Yep.
yeah, which I'm very into. It could be both, yeah, but no, I really liked that, and like it also has like some weird connection to Tekla that I'm like now realizing, and it's like super gross, and yeah, but I love how just like scheming the three of them are together. It's just such a like really cool, evocative group. Like the way that you described Ciro's hand and your Otho voice is always pleasant to hear. But yeah, I've never played Roots. I've I've read parts of it. It's massive. So like even if it was to be like the end, it's going to be a very very long end because there's a lot to do down there. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Roots as well because it gets like Dark Souls, Elden Ring as fuck down there, right? And so I'm really excited to get you all down in there. Um, but I'm also actually really quite excited for Mother, our little side jaunt for Trophy Dark. This is one of the like more um, it's one of the darker incursions thematically. It's not as gross or horrifying as Plantation or some of the others, but it's very like it has a melancholy and a bleakness to it that is like really I don't know. It's a lot. So I'm excited to do that, and yeah, we'll get that going, and then we'll kind of we'll press forward into Roots of Old Kaldur, which really is kind of like it's almost like a new campaign in a sense, you know. But I do have a star for taking the deal. I think that was really great. You didn't have to do that, Ben, but I think it was a good move. It would have been equally cool to turn them down and just get money for the painting and see your character to retirement. That would have been fun also. But I like this as well. Um, yeah, star for there was a lot of really good stuff. I mean, it was kind of fun to see everyone in like how they each individually incorporated Berwin into the group. That was really interesting to see because everyone kind of had their own like little spin on it, which I thought was fun. I continue to enjoy Torum's like focus on Lady Peril, and I'm not done with Lady Peril. I wonder about her and how she might affect things in the future, and so it'll be really interesting to see what the way back in is for her in the story. And Alina continues to be awful, and just an awful person. I kind of really like that scene of you like pickpocketing the corpse and then or the presumed corpse and then having to kill that man. I thought that was really great. Alina's like you're you're a priestess of the sisters. Like you should have been like comforting him or doing something, I don't know, priest-like, and instead you like murder him while you get your hands in his pocket.
It was a mercy killing.
Yeah, she's just such a deplorable person, and I love her for that. How duplicitous and awful she is. Um, Star for that little moment in the Temple of the Peerless Star that was really enjoyable. Like quite like that as well. Yeah, just really excited to kind of see where it goes. Excited to do Mother and very excited to get into Roots of Old Kaldur. It's very fun. It's cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into the Roots of Old Kaldur with this group and these characters, but I'm really excited to see where things go with this dark gang that we've concocted, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Stars all around. I really enjoyed getting to see this. Last time we saw Berwyn Mark II, it was more animalistic, and so it was cool seeing a bit of the old Berwyn come out and other things come out of the old Berwyn. But your use of changing his shape and pseudopods from his mouth, disgusting. More of it. As mentioned, I really want to see more about Lady Peril and Torum. And also, yeah, we get a lot about Torum being the labyrinth guy. I want to know more about that. Why is he the labyrinth guy other than that's where we found him? And Alina is terrible. I love it. I am really looking. I mean, I am made uncomfortable by the nascent fawning from Alina. So that's awesome. But I really want to see more of this child.
Yeah, Star for the birthmark thing. I want to know what that's about. Yeah, it's a wish as well.
Yeah. Also, I have never, in all of the Trophy Gold I've played with you, Jason, I've never had burdens, the potential for burdens being lowered. Of course, I'm going to take that. Like, I had to see what would happen. So
I think what's really fun is because to me it was like, okay, you have this like setting incredibly rare artifact, right? Like very, very valuable, rare artifact. It's like, yes, it could just be like money, but also I was thinking like, how can we kind of twist things around to make it like something more interesting? And so, yeah, I'm really excited that because I think like the lowered burdens will give you all a chance to just like survive a little bit better in Roots of Old Kaldur. But you also had to give up a lot though, right? Cassian essentially gave up character, like retiring and meeting the drive, right? So, yeah.
I'm hoping it's just an investment in the future. So we'll see how it works out.
Indeed. Any other stars and wishes? Okay, well, that was great fun. I'm going to wave goodbye to people watching the video.